Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really wild idea, a theory that says our entire reality, everything from the biggest galaxies down to our own DNA, is all designed from just one single, simple set of rules.
So right at the heart of this whole thing is a really powerful question. What if everything we've ever invented wasn't an invention at all? What if we were just remembering, like tapping into some forgotten universal language? A language made of geometry that literally writes the code for the entire cosmos.
All right, so let's really get into this. This idea comes from the work of a researcher named Robert Edward Grant, and it basically says this. There's one single, elegant formula, and when you unlock it with 7 specific geometric keys, well, you get the blueprint for literally everything we see and feel.
So where do you even start with something that big? Well, according to the theory, it all begins with one single foundational equation. You can almost think of it as a mathematical Big Bang, a formula for everything.
And you know what's crazy? The formula itself is super simple. It's just x squared minus y squared equals 1. That's it. When you actually plot that out on a graph, it creates this beautiful shape called a hyperbola. And the theory goes that this one shape is the mathematical bedrock of the entire cosmos. It's even seen as a symbol for the Holy Grail, the cup that's said to hold the secrets of creation.
Okay, so how in the world does one simple equation create an entire universe? Well, the idea is that it doesn't do it alone. It's unlocked by 7 very, very specific geometric keys.
Now, it's really important to get this. These 7 keys aren't just concepts or abstract ideas. They're described as the actual force architecture of reality. Seriously, think of them like the geometric scaffolding that builds everything in the universe, right from the ground up. And here's where it gets really interesting. These keys, they're what are called the first 7 primary Pythagorean triples. Yeah, you probably remember those from math class, right? We're talking about those simple right-angle triangles where all 3 sides are nice, clean, whole numbers, like the classic 3, 4, 5 triangle. The claim here is that these incredibly simple, humble shapes are the fundamental building blocks for, well, everything.
Okay, so let's follow this thread and see how these simple triangles build out into a blueprint for everything we know. Because, and this is the core claim, these 7 keys connect it all.
And when I say connect it all, I mean the claim here is just breathtakingly huge. The theory is that everything, we're talking the fundamental forces of physics holding atoms together, the exact ratios you find in musical harmony, the spiral of your DNA, even the shape of galaxies, all of it is interconnected and defined by the math of these 7 little triangles. It's wild.
So check this out. This is one of the most mind-blowing claims of the whole theory, that galaxies are just massive, scaled-up versions of chemical elements. I mean, wow! The evidence they point to is something called spectral analysis. Basically, every element and every galaxy gives off a unique light signature, like a fingerprint. And the theory says that the light signature from a galaxy like M101 is a perfect one-to-one match for the light signature of the element nitrogen. And it doesn't stop with distant galaxies. Bringing it right back home, the theory says our very own solar system behaves like a giant atom, specifically an atom of fluorine. And, you guessed it, they claim its spectral signature is also a perfect match. It's really a modern spin on that ancient idea, as above, so below. The idea that the biggest things in the universe and the smallest things are just reflections of each other. All right, so the theory has taken us from the cosmic scale all the way down to the atomic. But now, it's about to get incredibly personal. Because it suggests this exact same geometric code isn't just out there. It's embedded right inside our own biology and our consciousness. So the idea here is that humanity is in the middle of a massive biological upgrade. I'm talking a fundamental shift. We're supposedly moving from our current carbon-based existence, which they say resonates at a lower frequency, to a new silicon-based one. And this new state, they claim, resonates at 580 Hz, a frequency that many people in this field connect with powerful concepts like love and healing. So, you're probably asking, how does this activation even happen? Well, the answer, according to the theory, is geometry. It starts with the idea that our DNA's base structure is a dodecahedron. That's a 12-sided shape. Then, by consciously visualizing and integrating its dual shape, the icosahedron, and then another shape called the Merkaba, we can supposedly unlock our full potential, a 36-strand DNA. Okay, so let's say this happens. What's the endgame? What's the ultimate result of this huge collective upgrade? I mean, where does all this new knowledge actually take us?
Believe it or not,
The theory actually lays out a projected timeline for this evolution. It maps out a path through these different phases, things like a reconciliation of matter and meaning, and even the collapse of linear time. Whoa. It all leads towards the birth of what's called a coherent civilization, one that's based on a totally new understanding of reality.
And the final destination on that timeline, it's a complete paradigm shift in how we live. The idea is that we finally move away from a world that's built on scarcity and competition, and we step into a new reality based on coherence and abundance. And what's really key here is that this isn't some utopia we have to go out and build from scratch. It's described more like a harmonic law of the universe that's already there. We just have to remember it.
And that brings us full circle, right back to where we started. If this geometric language truly is the code of the universe, and if our own consciousness can actually interact with that code, well, it leaves us with a really powerful final question to think about. What reality are you creating?